Okay, so hello and welcome to today's class, which is going to focus on the deep core, which probably most of you know is, of course, connected directly to the pelvic floor. So, to start to engage that deep core connection can be very helpful. I really want to emphasize that if you feel any worsening of symptoms, any pain, or any signs from the body that maybe you shouldn't be doing what we're doing, then please stop. You can just wait for the next exercise or do something else that feels good to you. Just kind of rest in child's pose or do a downward dog or whatever you want to do. But take this class as an opportunity to first and foremost listen to your body. No exercise that I am going to show you now is going to be better than listening to your body, if you know what I mean. So if you're not listening, we won't get the effect. We'll get the opposite effect and we'll have a worsening of symptoms, and we don't want that. So let's come to our mats. We're going to start in all fours. Yeah, let's place our knees directly under our hips and our hands directly under our shoulders. And as in all alignment on all fours, we want to be having this support on the front side of the body. So we don't want to collapse like this, but we also don't want to tense up everything and stay like this. So it's just like a firmness on the front side. And only this, if you engage properly here, you will start to engage those deep abdominals. So maybe this is enough in the all fours position. If you want to explore here, we are now going to start to lift one knee off of the mat. We're trying to keep the hips quite parallel, and we're just going to lift the knee a couple of millimeters, almost like maybe 5 millimeters off. So I don't know if you can see that movement. I have lifted my knee and I can feel the activation of my core, and then I'm setting the knee down. So as you exhale, you lift the knee slowly. Just keep it there as you exhale, and then inhale, lower it down. So we're doing a few more. It's a very tiny movement. And if you're attentive, you will be able to feel an activation almost close to or behind or a little above the pubic bone. Lengthening the top of the head away from the sitting bones. Just a few more. Good. And the option, of course, is to just stay on all fours, being aware of that front support. So 3 more here. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Good. And then we can just, what do you say, rock the tail or like pretend as if we were a dog. Sway it out, and then we'll do the other side. So slowly on the exhale, you lift. Inhale, lower. Good. And really do this in a controlled manner. So there's no point in rushing or trying to be effective. It's almost the opposite. The slower we do this movement, the more we will improve the control of the breathing and the movement. Again, elongating the spine away from the sitting bones, lowering the shoulders away from the ears, and just keep your gaze right under your eyes in the mat. Good, just a few more. Nice, okay, last one. And then we'll come down to the forearms. And here we are going to do a pumping technique with the belly. So I want you to look at my belly now. I'm going to inhale, exhale fully so that everything becomes really empty. And then from here, as I have exhaled, I'm going to pump my belly button out and in. And then I breathe in. So we're going to do 3 rounds of this. And this movement will actually create a bit of pressure toward the pelvic floor. But now we have the pelvic floor as the highest point, so it won't really affect the pelvic floor in a negative way. So get ready. You can just keep your head relaxed, gaze down toward the mat or even behind, like toward the knees. Inhaling, filling up the lungs. Exhaling fully, full, really empty. And then you hold it there and you pump your belly. It's not like a super fast movement or a super big necessarily. It's just doing that with control. Then you inhale and just exhale. Good. So taking 2 more lateral breaths here, you can direct the breath into the lower part of the rib cage. One last breath, and then we're going for 1 more round. So this will also help with the digestive system to get it going and activate those really deep parts of the core. Inhaling 1 last time, exhaling fully, and then when you're ready, make sure you empty completely, and then you pump. Small, tiny pumps. And you can do it a bit forcefully because the pelvic floor is safe. We have elevated the pelvic floor, but try to do it in a way that feels comfortable for you. Really nice. Inhale when you need to inhale. Let's take 2 more lateral breaths and then go for 1 last round here. If you get dizzy or need to take a break, please just come back to child's pose or any other resting position. Nice. Okay, so when you have fully exhaled the last breath, you can start to slowly pump again. And then inhale and exhale. We're gonna come up and then sit back down on the sitting bones. We're gonna come over again to all fours, but I think maybe it's good with a small break. We're gonna put our legs in front of us. And here we really wanna make sure that we can access the sitting bones. So if you need to bend your legs a lot to feel the sitting bones connected, we don't wanna straighten here and fall back here. So it's really important that the crown of the head is exactly above the sitting bones. So bend your, like the legs, it doesn't really matter what they look like here. You can try to flex your feet And now we are just going to lift the right sitting bone off of the mat. Coming down. So exhale, now lift the left sitting bone. And then come down. And we want to try to be doing the same kind of movement as with the knees. So it's not like we're rocking like this, lifting the sitting bones. We're trying to make a really small movement and connect and engage the lower inner part of the core. So let's try a few more times, just a tiny movement. As you exhale, you lift. 1. Inhale, come down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, come down. And you can keep your hands or fingers as support if that feels better. Because in this position, we are creating a bit of pressure down toward the pelvic floor. So just make sure it feels okay for you to do this. Otherwise, you can do one of the other exercises we already did. Or rest. Good. So either you stay here just with this kind of rocking from one sitting bone to another one, to the other one. We don't have that many. Or you can try to walk, to put the sitting bone, you lift it up and you walk forward. So you exhale, lift up, walk forward. Exhale, lift up, and then you inhale and exhale, lift up. Inhale. So we're doing it really slowly. If you want to do it in synchronization with the breathing, you can stay with this. Or if you just want to keep on doing nice full breaths, but then speed it up a little bit, you can do that. And then also, of course, moving backwards. So this will also create a lot of circulation in the whole pelvis, not only for the deep core. Really nice. Okay, so if you are back to where you started, you can stay there. And now we're going to come onto all fours again. So now you have the option of either just staying here, as we talked about, just having this kind of nice support on the front side, or you can do the same exercise, lifting one knee and then the other. If you want to maybe challenge yourself, you can make sure that your toes are hooked under. You have a really nice positioning and alignment. And from here, trying to lift right leg and straighten it out with a flexed foot. And not for the hip to come up. We want them parallel. And either stay here or really working with that balance and stretching one or the opposite arm, left arm, forward. And breathe here. So let's take 3 really deep lateral breaths. You stay. And if you fall out, it's okay. We're just practicing. And if you want to keep the hand down, please feel free. One last breath. And then slowly exhale. Coming down. Just take a few cat and cows. I don't know about you, but I can feel the activation in my core just from these exercises. Okay, let's do the other side, or if you're just lifting the knee, please feel free to do that. So let's prepare, let's find the alignment, and then slowly lifting the left leg. And usually things are different from side to side. So maybe it's more challenging to balance in this position, or it's easier. Just notice what it is for you. And then if you are up for it, if your body allows you, you can stretch your arm forward. Let's take 3 breaths in this position. And if you're working with the knees, lifting them up and down, you can, of course, be a bit more dynamic. You don't need to hold the position. After your last exhale, gently coming all the way down, and do whatever feels good to shake it out. So let's now do one more round of the pumping motion. You have two options here too. You can either stay just as we did on the elbows and then work here 3 rounds. Or you can do dolphin, which is you lift your knees off and you don't need to straighten the legs at all. You can keep them really bent. And then let's work with the pumping motion here. And if you choose to lift your knees, for some people it's easier to do this with the hands, to fold them or to tie them like you're saying a prayer. So just check if you are intrigued and want to lift the legs here. It's kind of hard work, so you can combine also and maybe come down with the knees when you're not pumping, taking 3 lateral breaths, and then lift up again as you're pumping. Or you can stay in dolphin all the time. It's gonna really strengthen, of course, the upper part of the body. So you choose your position and you get into it. You align your body fully. Just take one deep inhale first. Exhale fully and start the first round of pumping motion with your body, your belly. So, it's really, really interesting. The first few times I did this, I just felt so awkward and like lack of control. The more you do it, it's just going to gain more control and you'll be more aware in a different way of all the different layers of muscles and fascia and everything that you have in the core. Inhale when you need to. Exhale. If you want to come down, you can. If you want to stay, please do. 2 more lateral breaths, and then we're doing one more round. And if you did lift your knees, maybe you feel, okay, that was good enough. Let's stay with the knees now. Or you're up for one more round with the lifted knees. So as you fully exhale, you prepare, you choose your position, and then you come into the pumping motion with the belly. Again, does not have to be big, does not have to be rhythmic or look good in any way. Just explore. This is what the core is capable of, like this type of movement, and we rarely do it. So it's just to gain awareness and connection. Good. So 3 lateral breaths before the last round of this. Take your time. See if you can also just relax your jaw, your face, and any other body part that may hold some tension. Then once you are ready, let's come into the position and empty fully before you start the pumping motion. Good. And when you are ready to inhale, please do. Exhale, come down if you were off, and let's do one more round of the seated exercise that we did. And now you know what it's all about. There are no other varieties of this one, not for today. So your options are lifting one sitting bone and then lower, and then lifting the other, trying not to lean too much over, trying to stay kind of centered and really just work that part of the core that is right above the hip or next to the hip bone. Or you can walk slowly forward with your breath. So you exhale, lift, Pull the way and inhale. Exhale, lift. Coming down, inhale. You can, of course, support yourself with your hands, and you can do things a little faster. If you don't feel any aggravation of the symptoms or any pain, maybe it feels good actually to do it. And then if you are walking forward, at some point, start to walk backwards again. Good. So just 2 more breaths in whichever version you have decided to work in. And then stopping from here, we're just going to lay down and take a few breaths, just relaxing the belly. If you have a pillow to put underneath your hips, I do recommend that, since especially the last exercise was a bit heavy on the pelvic floor. So, or you can put a yoga block, a book, anything that just elevates the hips, even just a tiny bit. And take a couple of sighs here, breathing out through the mouth in a very relaxing way, closing the eyes. And let the integration happen of the work that we just did. It may have felt like a lot. It may have felt like nothing. And it doesn't really matter. What's important is that we are doing it. Our mind keeps on valuating or like valuing everything all the time. Is this good? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it bad? It doesn't matter. You did it. You showed up. You explored movements, breath, and your own body, which is what counts. So just take nice deep breaths here, and you are, of course, welcome to stay for as long as you wish. The class is over for today, but I hope to see you soon again. Thank you.